Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about input statements. Input statements are very important and they are used also very widely in wherever technological application or software that you use. Inputs are always very necessary. Inputs could be something like where your mouse cursor is at, or if you take an air conditioner, what temperature do you want the air conditioner to work at, or several other examples also exist such as some of these. Now, in Python, a simple input can be written as input, and then we have to write whatever we want to come as our statement just before the input. For example, enter a number. Now, I'm just providing a space because it looks a bit aesthetically better. However, as we learned last time, it has to be stored in a variable. Now, why is it going to be stored in a variable? A variable, what it does is that a variable remembers, as we've already done this last time, a variable remembers and stores the data of what is going to be entered over here in this input statement. So, for example, if I write s is equal to this, I'm creating a variable over here called s is equal to enter a number. And now if I print s, I'll just, this is s plus s, and now if I run this, enter a number. So enter a number, let's say 5, and I'm entering, this is s, which is 5. However, if I look at the type of s, if I'm looking at the type of s, since it's a number, your thought automatically goes towards that it's an integer. However, this is not the case in Python. In Python, an input is always in the form of a string. Whether it's a list or whether it's anything, it's always the input is in a form of a list. So if I run this, enter a number 5, my bad, I have to concatenate, I have to make the type as a string just so that Python can realize that I'm not actually outputting a type, but I'm outputting an str, because Python only can accept a string plus a string concatenation. So if I run this, enter a number 5, it's an str. Why? Because Python always takes an input as an str. However, now I want to take this as a number in an integer form. Let's say, for example, I wanted to print s plus s. If I run this right now, enter number 5, this is going to give me 55, because currently it's doing string concatenation of string 5 plus string 5 concatenates to give you a 55 string. But if I want this as a number, I can simply do a typecasting of this entire thing to an int. This is the easiest way to do the typecasting. Now I'll get 10 as my answer over here. That's it. But now suppose if I want multiple inputs on a single line. If you see competitive programming contests such as Code Forces, HackerRank or Code Chef, you'll have to take multiple inputs on a single line. The easiest way to do this is, instead of doing a is equal to input whatever, b is equal to input, and then c is equal to input, an int input everywhere. Instead of doing all of that, what you can do is a comma b comma c. I'm creating 3 variables over here, a, b, c. Alright, now I want them as integers. So what I'm going to do is write this function called map to an integer. Basically what map does is it takes the input, this input has to be in a form of a list. So what we're going to do is input dot split. This dot split function we will learn a bit later in the strings, so I recommend you go to the strings first, learn what the dot split does, and then come back to this. Alright, So the dot split, it'll return the entire thing in a form of a string, and I'm just putting a space as my delimiter. Alright, so now it'll, let's say if my input is, let's say 555, it'll return 555 as separate elements of a string, separate elements of a list. Alright, so now what map does, it converts each of these into integers, and then assigns the value of each to A, to B, and then to C. So now if I run this, A plus A, B plus B, and then C plus C. Now if I run this, I haven't put anything over here. I can put something over here. Let's say enter 3 numbers separated by a space. Now if I run this again, stop and rerun, enter 3 numbers separated by a space, let's say 3, 5, 7. My bad, all of these are integers, so they have to go in the form of a string. Hmm, 3, 4, 5. I get A as 3, B as 4, and then C as 5. That's it for inputs. Thank you very much.